told the guys in the locker room, you do it long enough, you're going to get your butt kicked. And we got our butts kicked tonight. It doesn't feel good. I'm extremely pissed off. And I got the sense that our team is as well, as we should be. But we got to learn from it. There's a lot of basketball left to be played. Tip your cap off to Houston. I thought they started the game just really executing. Thought they did some really good things offensively to put our defense in rotation, and then made plays. And then we had a couple good possessions early because our guys were ready to play, and they still made plays over the top, and I thought that stunned us a little bit. They guarded the heck out of us. We knew that was going to happen, and I was proud of the way our guys kind of fought back in it late in the first half, and honestly thought we would settle into the game at that point. And I kind of felt like coming out of half we were going to make a big run, and just couldn't get a couple things to fall, and we really struggled to guard, their ball screen stuff in the second half, and we really struggled all night to guard them in space. I can't. It'd be hard to count how many times we got beat to the middle of the floor, which put our defense in really tough situations. And they made a couple really tough 5, 6, 7 footers over the top. When you let somebody kind of get to their spot in the paint from behind the three-point line off the bounce, guys are going to make shots and make plays, and that's a really good basketball team with really good players, and they did that tonight. So disappointed, pissed off. Yeah, I got all those emotions. I would imagine our whole program does right now. But when you have nights like this, you dig in harder, you learn from it, and you remember it. And that's the way that we're going to try to approach it.
Houston's pretty much been at the top of the league for the last couple of years. This is your first look at them. What do you walk away with a better understanding of, maybe now that you've seen them in person and gotten a firsthand knowledge of how they do things?
I don't know if it's like anything different in person. There's just a level of play. This is the 6th ranked team in the country. They went to the Final Four last year. I've been around college basketball now. I haven't counted the years, but it feels like for a really long time. And I've been around really good basketball programs. That's a really good basketball program. Like, you have good teams, that's a good basketball program, because there's a certain level of play every single year after year that, Kelvin has his group doing year after year. It doesn't matter when the faces change, it's the same thing. And so I've been around teams like that, been a part of teams like that, coached against teams like that, maybe at a lower level coach teams like that. So that's the standard, right? And now we got to figure out, how to match that for 40 minutes. I think there was times tonight that you look up and you go, we can compete. And then there were segments where we didn't, and that starts with me. And we got to learn from it. And we had a lot of basketball coming our way in a really short period of time. So we got to learn from it quickly and get ready to play the next game.
Had a 12-2 run into the first half, a chance to cut it to 5 there early in the second half. What went right in that segment, and then what didn't go right outside of it?
Yeah, I thought to finish the first half, we kind of kicked it into gear defensively a little bit. We started getting our hands on balls, and that got us out and running a little bit. We got a couple easy baskets. It helps when shots fall, but that was our best defensive segment of the game, and on the contrary, it was our best offensive segment of the game, so it kind of worked on both ends for us. And I do think that those things, I've said this over and over this year, like when you really, really guard, you get live ball stops, it leads to opportunities in the open floor. During that segment, some of those things happened. We made some plays.
You tied a season low in points today. Obviously, Houston deserves some credit for that, but 60 points at East Carolina, 58 points at Temple. There's obviously a slump going on here offensively. Is there something you can do to kind of snap out of that?
Yeah, Keith, I'll say it the same way. I said it when, I think last week or a week and a half ago, you guys were talking about how hot we were and all that. I don't get into all that. It's just like every day we come in the gym, we're trying to get better. We're trying to figure out how to be a better team than we were yesterday, whether that's our offensive execution or some other aspect of our team. And so I don't get into the streaks and slumps and all that kind of stuff. It's just one day at a time, one possession at a time. And it sounds cliche, it sounds like coach talk, but that's the way I challenge myself every day, and I challenge our team every day. So we're not gonna shoot. You look down And then what do we shoot? 34 from the field, 20 from the three. We're not going to shoot that every game. But tonight we did. And Houston deserves some credit for that. And they give them some credit for making us shoot it poorly because they can really defend.
You mentioned that one day at a time thing. Do you take any big picture stuff away from a game like this? Like, this is the level we have to get to in the conference, or are you just now focused on Wednesday night?
Oh, damn right. I think about it big picture. I mean, yeah, like I want us to be the team that kicks people's ass by 22. You know, kicks people's ass on the board. You know, and digs down and doesn't let you get good shots and has shot clock violations and executes the heck out of offense to get easy baskets. And you take it to heart, you take it personally, and we got some work to do to get there, and I believe we can.
Coach, can you talk a little about the matchup problems Fabian White provides? I mean, tonight, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 4, 5, and 3, just his ability to stretch the floor for them. He's
One of the best players we have in this league, and the matchup nightmare is part of it because you can't guard him, and he's shooting it at such a high clip this year. We talked a lot about him in our scouting, but he presents a huge problem to you in your man-to-man coverage because you can't guard him with a smaller guy because he's a post player. I mean, he can go down on the post and play on the block as well as anybody in our league. He's as good of an offensive rebounder as anybody in our league. He's a load. And now, it doesn't look like he shot it. I got to go back and look at his numbers again, but he wasn't shooting threes last year from what I've seen. So to work on his game and grow, it presents huge problems. It presented huge problems to start the game for us. You know, it presented problems in the shoot. I think Vic gives up the pick and pop three. I mean, it presented problems in the first half, and then I thought they went to a horn set to start the second half, and, you know, they get us in a rotation and get the three in the corner. I mean, and that has a lot to do with him. So whether he benefits or the people around him benefit, trying to deal with him on the inside-outside threat makes them really difficult to cover.
Coach, was there anything in particular that you noticed in terms of your offense, trying to get the ball inside, trying to get shots near the rim, that was very difficult tonight, just especially in the first half? It seemed like you guys were taking a lot of jumpers in the beginning portion of the game.
Yeah, I mean, they do a really good job of running bodies to the ball when you drive it. And you see that on tape. I mean, they're the top 10 team in defensive efficiency in the country. There's reasons for it, right? They make it difficult to get quality shots. And so they really run bodies at you. They've been doubling the post a lot. They didn't tonight. So I was surprised we threw it in there early and got a couple shots around the rim. I did think we got it to the rim at times, but they're going to make it a challenge shot over size and physicality. And then I did think we settled at times too. I thought we settled for jumpers, and we could have broken the defense down, you know, drive and kick and kind of get them in rotation a little bit, because you can do that. I mean, when people run bodies at the ball the way they do, you know, you have to be able to drive in there, draw, and then find the open guy. And that's not always on the ball handler. The ball handler's got to do his part, and then guys got to kind of slide to open areas so there's an outlet and a place to deliver the ball.
I know it can be tough to not play scattered when it's a big lead for the other team, but do you feel like whether it was full court press or did a little bit of trapping there at one point at the end, were you able to work on some things that you feel like can help down the road this season?
Yeah, I mean, for 6-7 years, you know, really spent a lot of time changing defenses and throwing people off rhythm, and you know, down the stretch you're trying to figure out a way to crawl back in the game, so we're trapping and pressing a little bit. You know,